Please video like and subscribe this channel. No one was supposed to stand when the imperial procession entered the Hall of Convergence. Thousands of delegates, alien monarchs, warlords, envoys, and machines pretending to be diplomats rose as one when the crystalline doors parted. Light poured in, refracted through banners older than most civilizations. At the center of it all walked Princess Erin Vallis of the Karsai Dominion, heir to a 1,000-star empire and bearer of a bloodline that had never bowed. She walked alone. That alone was a statement. Erin's armor was ceremonial but real, polished obsidian plates woven with living circuits, a crown blade resting at her brow. Her expression was calm, precise, and utterly unreadable. She had been trained since childhood for moments like this, to command a room without raising her voice, to intimidate without drawing a weapon. Her gaze swept the hall. And stopped. One figure remained seated. He wasn't a king. He wasn't even dressed for court. Simple dark clothing, no visible insignia, no guards at his side. Human, by the look of him an unremarkable species in a room of legends. He sat with his hands folded, eyes lifted, watching her approach as if he were waiting for a late train rather than the future ruler of half the galaxy. A murmur rippled through the hall. Erin felt it like a spark against her skin. Protocol demanded she ignore him. Pride demanded she crush him. Curiosity, dangerous, unwelcome curiosity, made her slow her steps. When she reached the center of the hall, she stopped. "You," she said, her voice amplified without effort. "Human." Every eye turned. The man blinked once. "Me?" "Yes," Erin said coolly. "You failed to rise in my presence." "That's so," he replied, glancing around as if surprised by the attention. Must have missed that part of the invitation. A sharp intake of breath echoed from several delegations. Insult layered upon insult. Erin's lips curved, not in amusement, but in challenge. "Stand," she commanded. The man considered this. Then, slowly, he shook his head. "No." Silence fell like a dropped blade. Erin felt something unfamiliar coil in her chest, not anger, but recognition. Power, yes, but of a different flavor. The kind that didn't need to announce itself. "State your name," she said. "Later," he replied. "If it's all the same." Her fingers twitched near the hilt of her crown blade. "You defy me in my own hall. Do you know who I am?" "I know who you're supposed to be," he said gently. "Princess. Heir. Symbol. Burden." Her eyes narrowed. "And what am I actually?" He met her gaze, and for a heartbeat the hall seemed to tilt. "Tired," he said. The word hit harder than any insult. Erin stepped closer, her guards tensing, weapons humming. "You speak boldly for someone unshielded." He smiled faintly. "I'm not unshielded." "Then show me," she said, voice low. "Or I will have you removed." He sighed, as if inconvenienced. "That won't end well." "For you," she almost said. Instead, she drew her crown blade in one smooth motion. The blade sang a harmonic note that resonated with ancient Karsai war tech. Energy flared, and the hall's defensive fields rose instinctively. "I challenge you," Erin declared, loud enough for the galaxy to hear. "Stranger. By right of sovereign proving. Face me." Gasps. Shouts. Furious whispers. The man finally stood. He wasn't tall. He wasn't armored. But when he rose, the air changed. Not visibly, no light, no shockwave, but something deeper, like gravity subtly reasserting itself. "Princess," he said quietly. "You really don't want to do this." Erin lifted her chin. "I already have." They cleared the central dais in seconds. Drones rose, recording. Ancient combat wards activated, sealing the space. Erin took her stance, every movement flawless, her blade humming with lethal intent. She had defeated champions twice her age. She had killed in defense of her people. Fear was a tool she used, not a feeling she indulged. The stranger stood opposite her, hands empty. "Last chance," she said. "Kneel." He shook his head. "I won't kneel. But I won't strike first either." Arrogant, she snapped and attacked. She moved faster than most species could track, blade arcing in a perfect killing sweep. The strike should have ended it. Instead, her blade stopped. Not blocked. Held. 2 fingers, thumb and forefinger, pinched the edge of her crown blade. The energy field screamed in protest, sparks cascading, but it could not cut him. Erin froze. No one touched a crown blade barehanded. No one survived it. She pulled back, twisting, launching a follow-up strike aimed at his throat. He stepped inside the arc, impossibly close, and tapped her wrist. Pain exploded up her arm. Her blade clattered to the floor. Before she could react, he was behind her, one hand resting lightly between her shoulder blades. "If I wanted you dead," he said softly, "you'd already be remembered." The hall erupted in chaos. Erin spun, summoning a pulse of raw kinetic force enough to shatter stone. It hit him squarely. He didn't move. The energy dissipated around him like mist around a mountain. Her breath caught. "What or are you?" she whispered. He looked at her, not with triumph, not with cruelty, but with something like regret. "A story," he said. "One your people tried very hard to forget." Memory slammed into her. Forbidden archives. Half-burned myths. A name erased from star maps. The living myth, she breathed. The first sentinel. The one said to have ended the age of devourers. The one who had judged empires and found them wanting. The one who vanished rather than rule. "You're dead," she said. He shrugged. "Got better." Erin sank to one knee without realizing it. The hall went silent again, but this time, not from fear of her. From fear of him. "Why are you here?" she asked, voice shaking despite herself. He glanced around the hall, at the banners, the weapons, the alliances built on threats. "Because the galaxy is on the edge again. And because you," his eyes returned to her, "are about to become something you don't want to be." Her jaw tightened. "You don't know me." "I know what they're asking of you," he said. "Endless war dressed up as destiny." She looked away. "It's my duty." "Duty doesn't excuse atrocity," he replied. "I learned that the hard way." Slowly, she rose. "Then teach me," she said. "If you're truly what you claim to be, teach me how to rule without becoming a monster." The hall held its breath. He studied her for a long moment. Finally, he nodded. "All right, princess." Relief flickered through her, quickly replaced by unease when he added, "But first, you're coming with me." They left the hall together. Not as captor and captive. Not as ruler and subject. As student and myth. News spread like wildfire. Alliances fractured. Assassination attempts followed, none successful. Wherever the living myth walked, danger simply failed. They traveled beyond known space, to places Erin had only seen in censored texts. Graveyards of civilizations. Worlds cracked open by their own ambition. "This is what unchecked power does," he told her, standing on the edge of a dead planet. "Not evil. Not hatred. Just certainty." She listened. She learned. She argued with him. Challenged him. Sometimes, she even won. Months passed. Then years. When they finally returned, the galaxy barely recognized her. Princess Erin Vallis stood before the convergence once more, this time without armor, without blade. And when the delegates rose, she lifted a hand. "Sit," she said. They did. "I was challenged once," she continued. "By a stranger. And I faced a living myth. Her gaze flicked briefly to where he stood, half hidden, already fading from history again. I learned that strength without wisdom is just another weapon, she said. And I refuse to be one. Silence. Then, slowly, applause. The myth smiled. And disappeared. Leaving behind a princess who would become something far rarer than an empress. A ruler who remembered the challenge and chose a different ending.